Shalom Makims. Back out here with another one. Through the Spirit and Prophet Yahawashi. First and foremost, we're going to give all praise, honor, glory be unto the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the elders and apostles over there at Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. And a sincere salutation be unto the brethren, pushing His word through truth and sincerity in life freedom to do so. Other brother, but I want to come back here another one through the Spirit and Prophet Yahawashi. Giving all praise, honor, glory be unto the Father and the Son, Yahawashi. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, native to Seminole Indians, and the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, according to Scripture and prophecy. Okay? And a sincere shalom to the brethren out there pushing this word through truth and sincere risk in their life and freedom to do so. Okay? Again, another brother, but I want to come back here another one. Okay? Another day, another hour, another second, another minute. Okay? Another month, another year. Okay? I'm pushing this word through truth and sincerity. Okay? And today, through the Spirit, man, we'll be going into the Prophets of Doom. Okay? That's going to be the lesson for today. All right, the Prophets of Doom, man. Okay, because you know, with everything that's going on, okay, you got you obviously got World War III. Okay, you know, you got these economic how do I put this, economic wars going on. Okay, because that's really what it is. It's an economic battle or war, if you want, right? And yeah, man. You know, that demonization will be coming soon, okay? But this is nothing new, man, okay? All right? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that we're going to face persecution very much so soon, okay? And, you know, with all that being said, man, okay, all we can do is build up our faith and do what the Lord instructed us to do, okay? Which is to preach this gospel, man, all right? You know, there's a lot of people helping with that agenda, you know, like these other camps, you know, and their little shenanigans, but you know, that's what really they like to call us the Prophets of Doom. But really, man, we're the defenders of the gospel. Okay? All right? Not these Christians. You know what I mean? Not these Christians. Not these other camps that are out here dismantling the doctrine. Okay? Talking about how the Charagma is in the chip. You know, doing foolishness on the Passover, man, you name it, man. Okay, all these are indicators of who the true men of the Lord are, man. Okay, so before we get into anything, man, I just want to go into the definition of the word prophet. Okay, this is in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Unfortunately, today I don't have my second phone, so I can't really go into in-depth, but, you know, just to start off the lesson, you know, it's like the elders taught you, man, go into the words' meanings, man. Okay, all right. So it says a spokesman for God, okay? And you know, you guys are going to say, oh, you know, there's a lot of people coming in the name of God, man. Well, that's where your discernment's supposed to come. And that's going to really tell if you're in the spirit, man, really and truly. I'm sorry to say, but that's going to tell whether you're in the spirit or not. Because just like how there's other religions literally coming in saying, oh, yeah, we're coming in the name of God. We're sent by God. Come on, guys. Okay, there's charities and foundations out there as well that come on and say, oh, we're sent by God, you know, to help these people. You know, like, people come in the name of God all the time, okay? But that's where you have to use that discernment, okay? And understand that not everyone is sent by God, okay? And really, they are sent by God, but just not in the way of righteousness, man, okay? You know, they're not sent by God in that sense, man, all right? Because really and truly, the reason why, you know, everything's a balance, man. When you really look at it, okay, everything has a balance to it, and everything is balanced. Okay, just like how we're fighting for the righteousness, people fight out there fighting for wickedness. They're just disguised in sheep's clothing, like the scriptures like to tell you. Okay, it says prophets were not in words cut out there in God's will I don't know what that's words butchered. Of will, they uttered the actual words which Yahawah gave them, okay? Which that's in the book of Peters, okay? That's actually in the book of Peters, man, okay? That, you know, basically, this is not even really, many physically wrote the scriptures, but they didn't really write the scriptures because where would they be without the Lord's testimony, okay? All those things that they went through in the truth, okay, or we could say their truth, right? Because everyone pretty much has their truth. We're all in the truth, but we all have our testimonies and our trials and you know, our testimony of bearing that cross, man. Okay, so everyone has, you know, what we would call their truth, right? Okay, so there it says that they're uttering the words of God. God gave them, okay, through what? Visions, okay? Right, you have the visions, or people like to call, people in the world like to call it dreams, okay? Really, they're visions, okay? You know it's a vision when you can remember it vividly. Like, you can remember pretty much every detail, okay? When you fall asleep, you know you have a vision, okay? Usually the dreams are, those whack-ass, weird things that you have when you sleep, okay? It's not even a dream. It doesn't even make sense, okay? Right? But a lot of the things, potentially what you can remember out of the vision when you sleep, okay, is what? All right? A vision. Because you can remember detail for detail, okay? So again, the Lord gave it to them. And just like we were talking about the last time, okay, with faith, the Lord has to give you this, man, okay? And even the Lord, the people of the world, these heathens, they get the same thing, okay? They get, these heathens, they get visions as well. That speaks about in the book of Joel, okay? Right? Two aspects to their work: foretelling and foretelling, right? So that means beforehand. When you foretell something, that means you're beforehand, and that's what the prophets were known as. The prophets were also known as visionaries as well, okay? So the prophets are also known as visionaries. So when you have visions, that means you're foreseeing something. So yes, in a sense, the prophets can literally tell the future because they were given the visions too. Not only can they tell the future, but they can read about it in the Biblia, aka the Bible. Okay, the book of books, guys. Okay, so that's what a prophet is, man. Okay, foretelling. You're foretelling what's happening. Okay, all right. Here and there you'll hear these other people or groups or even heathens speak about it because the Lord gave them a vision. Yes, that is true. But you need the whole role at the end of the day. Okay, right? Which is in the scriptures. The scriptures foretell you what's the future prophecy. Okay, what's gonna happen with the charagma. Okay, right? You have the charagma. Jacob's trouble, you have civil wars and other wars that are getting ready to happen, okay? You have economic crashes, you have famine, pestilence, plagues, martial law, the whole nine, man, okay? What other camp is talking about that? You still have camp still breaking down Deuteronomy chapter 28 every fucking week, man, okay? We're past that, man, okay? We're past that. We're past all of that. We're past, really, the basics never get over it. We never get over the basics. But you're still out there breaking down Deuteronomy chapter 28. You're not even talking about more important topics. You're not talking about Trump and tariffs, man. Okay, that's potentially going to lead to war. You see all these nations are bucking up, man. They're sending tariffs on America. That's going to affect your economics, man. Okay? Okay, and then economic crash is on the way, guys. Okay, these tariffs are not for no reason. Okay, you're not over here talking about Jacob's trouble, Jake getting cut off from food stamps, Section 8, okay, housing, okay, all these things, these programs getting cut off, man, and it's going to affect Jake. What is that going to cause? That's going to cause rowdiness, man, bucking up, okay, that's going to cause civil war. You're not talking about how these nations are putting all their tax dollars into weaponry and technology for war. You're not talking about that, man. You're over here still breaking down Deuteronomy chapter 28, man. Okay? So again, man, again, you're going to get a little bit of the role, but, you need the whole role at the end of the day, man. Okay? So again, the prophets were foretelling, man, and that's how it's always been. The prophets were always foretelling. Okay? They were always warning the people, man. Okay? It says there were schools of the prophets, but little known of them. Okay? So again, there were true and false prophets. Okay? And it's even giving you the scriptures. Okay? The former who wrote the interpretive history of the background. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay? So I just wanted to read that and give you an idea of what a prophet is, because that's what a prophet is, guys. A foreteller, a visionary. Okay? The prophets always got visionaries. You had Ezekiel, Matthew, Paul, all of them. They always had visions, and they seen angels too. Okay? So they were seeing those guys. All right? So let's jump right into this lesson, man. Let's grab some scriptures. Okay? Because it's the same concept, man. What is it? I think it's Ecclesiastes. Nothing new under the sun, man. Okay? Prophets are right back here doing the same thing they were doing. Okay? Back in their past lives. Okay? Teaching, enduring, bearing that cross. Speaking out. Okay? And bold as a lion, man. Okay? This is Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 10. It says, let's start at verse 9. It says that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not. Okay? See not. You guys don't want to see the prophecies, man, because the prophecies means the end of this place. Okay, that's what the scriptures was talking about in Isaiah. What did Isaiah say? Isaiah said they're still gonna cleave to Babylon, man. Okay, when Babylon, man, the missile's still gonna be getting shot, and there's gonna be people walking around with the Quran, man, living daily life. I'm telling you, man, through the Spirit. Okay, there's gonna be people committed to the society. Society's gonna rehabilitate and reopen, guys, with the Quran, literally full blown. And then you're gonna have the people that are still concentration camps. You're gonna have people on the run trying to avoid it. You know, all of that, man. All right. You have people doing a whole bunch of stuff, man. Right? The scriptures talk about that. People, you know, being on the run, dodging persecution, all of that. Okay? Let me end that.